Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Timoria McQueen Saba, and I'm running for House Representative of District 68. I would first like to begin by thanking the Georgia Win List for this endorsement. I'm very honored to have it, and I'm also honored to be with this incredible group of women behind me. My journey here today truly shows the power of what sharing your lived experience can do in terms of shaping policy and improving outcomes, and I want my constituents to have the same opportunities. In 2010, after a 27-hour-long labor, I suffered a near-fatal postpartum hemorrhage. In 2011, I started bleeding through my pants while I was in a frozen yogurt shop with my daughter, a friend, and her daughter. And later, I suffered a miscarriage. I was diagnosed with PTSD. I struggled to find resources and support for women and their families who experience similar types of birth trauma. I started writing about things like feeling my body losing life after giving birth, the crippling anxiety and fear I often felt, how challenging it was to find a therapist, how my OBGYN was actually the third provider I saw during my pregnancy because I had been mistreated by the previous two providers, and I worried constantly about my safety as well as the safety of my daughter. In 2012, I posted my story online and soon received a message that said, "Dear Timoria, thank you so much for sharing your story. I also had a traumatic childbirth, but I live on a rural farm in South Africa. Can you help me?" I think about that every day. I realized that when a mom or a family who had experienced the same thing I did reached out to me, no matter where they were in the world, I wanted that answer to be yes. Yes, I can help you. Since then, I have collaborated with multiple entities at the local, state, and federal levels, including co-authoring a maternal health bill that was signed into law in my former state of Massachusetts, where we lived for 8 years. Now it's time to get real right here in Georgia. The maternal health crisis in Georgia is not new. My daughter is almost 16. We're looking at colleges, and the maternal health crisis has worsened. This is a decades-old problem that has dehumanized, dismissed, and caused the deaths of thousands of women and children, and generational trauma. We have Black women dying 3 to 4 times more than white women in pregnancy and childbirth. You might not know it, but every year, 30,000 women in Georgia experience a postpartum mood and anxiety disorder and find little resources and support. Out of 159 counties, 82, mostly rural, lack an OBGYN, and more than 40% are labeled maternal care deserts, meaning there are 0 obstetricians or hospital-based childbirth services. Recently, Georgia earned yet another F grade in maternal health. Enough is enough. We will no longer accept this as a norm. We are not going to continue to turn a blind eye to this crisis. We will not let the deaths of these mothers and children be in vain. Not on my watch. I will utilize all of my knowledge, the resources, the networks I have to build the right types of coalitions to write and support legislation that will change that F grade to an A, while also protecting reproductive choices and freedom. And that's not all I have planned. When we landed here 3 years ago, I saw that District 68 was struggling with many issues, including teacher shortages, affordability, low wages, the development of data centers, and food insecurity. I became friends with a woman named Diana Galloway who runs a food pantry in Fayetteville. I did some research and learned that there were over 7,000 people in our county struggling with food insecurity. 1 out of every 8 adults in Georgia and 1 out of every 6 children go hungry here every single day. We are better than this, and we can do better with the right policies in place. Because most pantries depend on donors' generosity and disposable income, I decided then to pursue a long-term solution by submitting a funding proposal during the 2024 federal appropriation cycle. Well, the funding was denied, and it was right then that I decided that I was going to run for office. 1, because I'm an only child and I don't like the word no, but also because as an advocate, I have spent over a decade pushing legislators to do the right thing from the outside. And I believe that Georgians are ready for someone like me to fight for them right here on the inside. I'm ready day one to begin fighting for you. Together, let's build a stronger, healthier Georgia where all families can thrive.
Mm. Love is. I'm Matt.